Well, I'm Hunter. A lot of people know me at that one guy that was really, really good at Scout Heli 1v1s for a really short period of time, and that was nice. Um, I don't know what else do people know me for. I'm bald, and sometimes I do the funny. Mm, and yeah, that's about it. Um,
Yeah, Hunter
and
wrecked me
Hunter
in
wrecked a
Scout
lot
with me
of
once.
people.
Yeah,
I think.
I mean, I remember the one thing that really stood out to me what you said, Marine, was Nick's back in the day. That was the first Battlefield streamer I ever watched, and then I watched that guy for a while, and then I saw Study, and I was like, oh, this guy has a nice British accent. I was still in America at the time, and I was like, this guy has a nice British accent, and he had like fucking 5 viewers or some shit. Um,
Five? What?
yeah, I was
He
like,
started when he was like so small.
yeah, I was like his third moderator ever, and I remember like him and Harspen like doing the first like ultra long range snipes and shit.
Oh,
And I was like, oh my god, this is so sick. I really want to play Battlefield. And then I came home from America and I was like, yo, mom, dad, I wanna get this video game. And I look at their computer and it was like some computer from like 2006, and there was no way it would run Battlefield 4. So I saved up for ages, and then in 2015, I think, or like late 2014, I got me a PC and I got Battlefield 4, and that's how I got my start. So yeah, actually, kind of connected to Nick's as well, and the times back then.
Yeah, I think a lot
That's
of
good.
people actually started streaming because of Nyx and also playing Battlefield overall because of him. I mean, he was probably the biggest streamer at the time. He was already pretty big in BO3, but sadly, I didn't get too much into the streaming scene back in BO3. I mean, it was the beginning of Twitch, anyways, back then. I mean, when did we switch from Justin TV to Twitch TV? Wasn't it like 2011
I
or
have
so?
no
Yeah,
idea.
2011, I believe.
Yeah.
2011.
I've never even
Yeah.
watched Nyx. Like,
Really?
yeah.
When did
It's
you
just-
basically start playing?
When did I start playing? Like when the game launched, I first started, but then I was like a complete pleb, so I was like just sniping long range and just doing stupid shit.
Dude, oh my
Everyone
god.
raised
Yeah.
something.
And
Yeah, dude.
and then I started playing Scout Heli on Sunken Dragon. The Sunken Dragon only server is like the only thing I played.
TSB number 6 or TSB number 2.
Yeah.
Some
One of
shit
them.
like that.
Yeah.
That's where, like, I watched Study and I was like, oh my god, I want to be like the sniper guy and I want to do like all these cool snipes. And then I got the game, and it was my first video game ever. I had played like Tony Hawk Pro Skater with my dad as a kid, and that was it. And then I got Battlefield and I tried sniping, and I just sucked so bad. Like, it was horrible. So I was like, okay, what the fuck do I do? And I went engineer. I got me a rocket launcher. And I was like, bullet bigger is easier to hit target. And then I just started sniping with rocket launchers, and I went on that Sunken Dragon server. And I never thought about playing vehicles. I just ran around and smarred the heli pilots. And I have clips, some of them on my YouTube, like way back in the day. And it's like Nebo, Losco,
Yeah.
Calypso, like, and I didn't know any of these people for like
Yeah.
a year or so, and like I was just farming them as like 0.5 KD infantry pleb on that Sunken Dragon server, man.
Yeah, that's
The
that's how
RPG master.
That's how I started, and then I remember some guy named Too Crazy Dave or something like that. He asked me like, "Have you ever thought about playing competitive?" And then I got into contact with Mr. Falls, who then hired me for his team, like Avalanche it was. But I was so bad at the time that Patsy and Scheibel were the main scout pilots, and I was just completely dog shit. But yeah, so that's basically how I started. And then from there, I just started growing and getting a little bit better and better all the time.
Okay, so it was also pretty much like 2015
Yeah.
around that time.
I started playing competitive end of 2014, I think, into 2015. So yeah, that's
I
where
mean,
I really.
I basically didn't really get too much into the competitive scene. I mean, I was part of it somewhat at the beginning of BO4, but I think I was just in this whole community around playing and streaming the game.
Yeah.
And I just had a lot of contact with all the people who are playing competitively. I mean, everyone from around Nyx, and basically later on when OG Pepes basically started.
Yeah.
I think that was also a big part of the whole reason why so many people got into streaming and playing together. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, that was great times. I'd love to know more about the start of OG Pepes from you, because I got really lucky that I met Calypso at that time, and then he kind of got me into that, and he got me into the TeamSpeak, and I was like 15. I might have turned 16, like right when I met all of those people. And I was still like 0.7 KD, and then there's like all these farmers, and they're like insane at the game. And I think Marine, you had like reset your KD, and the first time I saw your profile, you had like 175 KD, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, where am I? What is this? So I'd love to know more about the beginnings of that.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you as well. Like,
I think we have to go back to when I started streaming BF3. The way I started actually getting better at the game, I was also dog shit in BF3 in the beginning. I was constantly playing Kark Island's TDM or Nosha Cannon's TDM, and later on I was like, yeah, let's try this heli and jet. And then I started playing Jet and Hilo, and then all of a sudden, when I got better, I met a few people from Level BF. Level BF, which is also kind of sad that it's basically ripped nowadays, but Level BF was so big in the end of BF3 and in the beginning of BF4. Like there were several hundred people in the community, and so I started streaming then in the beginning of BF4 more often, and basically when Nick stopped streaming, all the people that were like big fans of all the vehicle farmers on Twitch, they had pretty much nowhere to go, to be honest. And I mean, I didn't have that many viewers. I think I had around 30 and 40 the whole time. I mean, Battlefield was always kind of dead on Twitch, like somewhat.
Yeah.
And the very first one that actually got into my Twitch community on my stream was, I think it was Tommy and Spy. And both of them just started talking to me in Twitch chat. And I think around that time we had our own platoon, which was something else before OG Pepes. I actually can't remember that name, to be honest. Where we were only like 15 people or so, and so basically Tommy and Spy joined, and then all of a sudden, who else joined then as well? Raid, Kinsey, Dog. Those were basically all people who watched Nyx back in the day, and then they basically came to my stream, and then we made this whole community thing. And yeah, in the end, we had like, I don't know, 150 people in OG Pepes or something. I mean, not everyone in that community was like part of that inner circle, but yeah, that's basically how it happened.
Yeah. I think I was even at some point in the Discord. I don't remember exactly when, but yeah, I remember being there as well.
We had the TeamSpeak actually before the Discord.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, the TeamSpeak days were incredible, and I remember a lot of those people. I really got very, very lucky to be a part of that community early on, because when things happened and I had a lot of time to play the game, I got really, really good really fast. And if I didn't have like that community, and it was really like, I didn't meet a single person in that community that wasn't amazing in some way. Like, everybody had something that was just really, really sweet. And it was like an incredibly wholesome environment. You know, you could get heated. You know, we had our gamer moments, and you know, there was drama here and there. But I got really lucky because I never got carried away. Like, there was always people there, like I got really, really good, but there was always people that were better than me, that were, and like everybody was pretty humble. What I admired really about those people.
Yeah,
That
I
was
mean, it wasn't a
something.
CFA. It
No,
wasn't
it
a
wasn't.
CFA.
That was something that I really looked up to at the start because like I got good at Scout Heli 1v1s, but I still had like a 2 KD if I didn't fly the fucking Scout Heli. Mm, and then I saw all these people with just insane KDs, objectively better than anyone else that was playing the game on public servers, and they were just like, yeah, like we're here, we're having fun, and there was no like, look at me, I'm so good. I reset my KD and now the number is bigger. It was all like, yeah, this is all in good fun and we're here to have a good time.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
I mean, I will pretty much everyone of us was at this point where we were like really bad at pretty much everything at the game. I mean, I before I started BO4, I was already decent at some vehicles, but you got to remember I only played a Tequilo Gunner and Jet for like yeah, I don't know, 4 or 5 years or so. And then later on in BO4, when I was actually joined 10 Hertz, which later turned into Exertus, that's when I started playing different things like tank and basically everything. But I was mostly learning how to play in BO4. But yeah, I mean, there were some people like Baku or CJ Matt, you know. I don't know if you guys remember him. He was probably the best jet pilot a few years
What
back.
was his name again?
Matt, with like 3 or 4 T's.
I don't think I remember him.
The only
British
person
guy.
I remember from 10 Hertz was Stoilish. That's what I remember. I don't know if
Oh, yeah.
if Harspen was a part of that, but like
No.
a couple of a couple of those people. I
Mostly
remember.
British guys actually in 10 Hertz, like Raider and Matt and what was his name again? Zach. There was like one redhead guy that was like 10 years younger than all of us, and he was just like on crack the whole time. But but yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, like talking about competitive, the last team you played for was Enro, right? You played for.
actively.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I
You
actually
were
remember
Scout
that.
heli pilot, if I remember
Yeah.
correctly.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
remember playing Heinen against you. Fucking, I don't remember who was in the LAV. Somebody was in the LAV.
Jan
You never
Simon.
killed me.
I think it was,
but
wasn't it Jan Simon that was in the LAV?
something like that. It was a bunch of Germans. And I remember I was fighting Marine. I was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna play fucking Highland against Marine. And then I get out of spawn, told. I get out of spawn, told. I get out of spawn, told.
Oh, yeah.
I never got to fight him. So
Oh yeah, I think I played against. Wait, who was the other scout in your team? You were playing for Velo, right?
I think so. I don't know. At that time, it might have been Tops or
No, I was playing
something.
for Tops.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly. I just remember trying to fight you on Heinen,
I think
but I
he
never
played,
got
I
the
think it was
chance.
Green then. Paddy's in the chat, maybe he can say if he was playing there. But
Maybe.
Yeah, I just remember the parasol round that I had against Velo when I was playing with Enro, and yeah, that was a good farm.
yeah,
But I didn't really play that much, to be honest. In Enro, I was only I was scout for them most of the time, but I didn't play that many matches because Enro was basically only playing for one cup, and then we stopped playing after that.
yeah, Paddy also can't remember. But I think Hunter, you played for Velo, or at
Yeah,
least
Probably.
Green.
Something.
It wasn't Velo, but it was Green, I think.
Yeah, something like that. I just that like that time. I mean, way back when with Marine, we're drinking the same water.
Oh really? Burgwaldbronn.
Burgwaldbronn,
Oh,
Digga.
boy.
Yeah,
Taste water.
best water, honestly.
Good
But
Kartoffel.
I remember I was still a viewer. Like I was still, I don't think I had my PC yet, or maybe I had just started. But I was still watching a lot of streams when like the whole 10 hertz meme was a thing, and I really got good at the game when the game got good. When like 60 hertz servers came out, and like the whole game worked the way it was kind of supposed to. I don't remember at all what the game was like when it was just like rough.
Oh, I remember.
Like
I
I
remember.
I was just watching. So
Oh,
if you
dude.
got any good stories
Yeah,
about that, 'cause
pre-patch, that was like when you could shoot out the scout pilot and when you could dodge
yeah,
the stingers from the side.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, that
yeah,
was
yeah.
so bad, man.
Yeah, you guys gotta remember that the game was so
Yeah,
rough
yeah, I
in the
remember.
I mean, basically, I still think BF3 is my favorite Battlefield, even though it has aged a bit worse than BF4. But the state of BF4 in the beginning was so bad. Like, the 10 hertz just made the game, like, the hit rate was so disgusting. I mean, even in 30 hertz, the hit rate on this game is, whew, uh, just pain, man.
but
But, yeah, go on.
I just saw Doge and June say the old SRA. I have some clips on my YouTube that like I thought they were so amazing. I was like, whoa, like this like rocket launcher. I can guide it when like the way I look. You know, I like fucking like 0.5 KD pleb. And I'm just pointing at the enemy, at the scout heli, and the rocket goes past it, and comes back around and hits the scout heli in the back. It was like, what the fuck? Like, I remember, I was just a rep bitch at the start. Like, I met Calypso, and we both had the beta field tags, studies platoon. We're both wearing the beta field tags. In the Sunken Dragon server, and Calypso was like, "Hey, come to Studies Discord, and like we'll talk." And he got me in his heli, and I was rep bitching, and that was at the time where you could have two stingers, like two stinger rep bitches in your heli, and then you'd fight the enemy heli, but you would repair so fast that you could take like 8 stingers in a heli 1v1 and still survive.
Yeah.
Like it was insane how fast you could rep at that time, especially with 2 people in there. So
Yeah, you were basically unkillable. I mean, it was before the physics patch of the helos, so it was a bit harder to fly the scout actually, or a bit easier to crash. But you could basically live forever, especially with that stinger dodge, where you could just go 90 degrees to the stinger and then basically dodge the stinger forever. But I remember as well that I think it was also in the beginning of BF4 where everyone was playing 25s instead of the minigun because the minigun did no damage at all. I think that was it. Or the spread was too high. I'm not too sure actually.
something like that. I just remember the 25s one framing people out across the map. Like you literally needed like 2 bullets to shoot the enemy pilot out, especially out of the little bird.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah, but what I actually wanted to talk about the SROR in the beginning as well. When we played the 32s versus 32 in level BF in the very beginning of BF4, the air vehicles were never up the whole time because you had 32 people with SRORs up, and you just needed 1 or 2 decent SROR people in the enemy team, and they could just kill every single scout, attack helo, and jet. And I still have some clips of the BF4 rounds that I had in the beginning in the 32s, where I had like, I don't know, 10 SRORs on the heli or something in one round.
And it was a one shot at that time too.
Oh,
it
yeah.
didn't do 75 damage. It was 100% accuracy. As long as you aimed at the vehicle, it would hit, and it did 100 damage. Like
and the range was like twice what
oh
it is
yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
yeah. It would just that was like some of the clips that I put in like the very first montages that I made. Were like ones where the SRAW flies past the heli and then comes back around and circles and back around, and then like it does like 3 loops around the heli and then it hits. Like the thing used to fly for ages. Like
But also what Money says in the chat, the trigger delay you had on the high caliber pistols and stuff, that was also so bad, and the visual recoil, they fixed so much stuff. Like Dice LA pretty much fixed the whole game. That's
that was pretty bad.
I'm expecting like I'm in some sense I'm kind of hoping that 2042 is gonna have a rough launch because a lot of fun things came out of that time. I was a pleb. I was more of a viewer. I didn't live through the pain. I was just laughing at the people. Like, I'd watch some infantry tryhards play, and they're like, "Oh, this trigger delay," and I'd be like, "Hey, I don't know what he's talking about, but he's angry. That's funny." And like I'm expecting something hopefully not as severe for 2042. I'm hopeful that the hit rate is going to be good from what we've seen in Battlefield 5. But if you have any other beginning of Battlefield 4 antics or some expectations you have for the beginning of 2042, I'd love to hear about that.
Kind of rough actually, because I think this is the first Battlefield launch where not only DICE Sweden actually worked on the game. I think like every single or like almost, I think 5 studios are working on this game or worked on this game, and I'm not sure, to be honest. I mean, I didn't really play BF5 or BF1 too much. I watched a few streams the last few weeks and months, people playing BF5, and to be honest, a lot of people give the game hate for it, but the gunplay looks pretty decent. I mean, the hit rate looks pretty good, and I don't know, it looks pretty satisfying, to be honest.
I think the core gunplay of Battlefield 5 isn't necessarily bad. It's more the random recoil that they've added that makes it bad. Like the gunplay itself is really fun. The guns feel like juicy and they work well, but it's just the random recoil part that is not fun at all.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, I mean, when did we have horizontal random recoil in any Battlefield game before BF5? Like, was there any other game?
I don't feel like it, but
I don't feel like it either.
I'm not a great infantry player.
But it looks like such a bad mechanic. I don't know why anyone would defend that, to be honest. Like, the only thing that it promotes is, I don't know.
Bit of luck.
Yeah, but basically what it is just like you take away a skill gap, right? So you have the noobs who can't control recoil anyway, so why not make it random, and nerf you nerf the better players by doing it, because you give them like a handicap. And I think that's the worst part.
Yeah, but also what Petty says actually meant random spreads. And random recoil like that. That is so bad. But apart from that, actually, I mean, did you guys watch any of the leaked alpha gameplay for BF 2042?
Yeah, the leaked alpha gameplay looked very rough.
But I think that was just because like all the besides one, all the gameplay that I've seen was from people who didn't know how to play the game. Like it was just really bad players, and of course the game's gonna look horrible to someone who's good at the game. Like having to watch some like first Clark level gameplay of the alpha. It's the game isn't in perfect shape, and it's like whatever. It looked kind of cool. I think like a lot of the visual effects are a bit over the top, and it like looks a little Battlefield 4 30 hertz. Like all the physics and stuff are a bit I don't know, but I think the biggest reason why the gameplay looked so bad to most people that we know and most people that we talk to is because we're just pretty good at the game, and then having to watch somebody who's like completely unaware, who like doesn't know what he's doing, fly an attack helicopter and just like look around like, oh, like what am I doing? It's like, of course that's not gonna look great. But
I mean the gameplay we saw in the early alpha, like the leaked footage, I think that was just what you're saying is right, but it also looked very scuffed, I think. But what we saw in the latest trailer looked a lot better than what the leaked footage was.
Definitely.
Like it looked a lot more polished.
Hunter basically took the words right out of my mouth, because I actually was one of I saw so many people complaining about the leaked gameplay, and I was just like, yeah, I mean, if you watch like a Chinese guy who was recording on his his toy camera from his sister, I don't know, like it was, you could basically see the pixel on some of the recordings that got leaked. And if you take that out of consideration, then I think it actually looked pretty good. Like there was one girl, I think it was, who uploaded some 4K footage, and she was actually pretty good at the game. And she tried everything out, like infantry, attack helo, scout helo, tank, and jet. And so you got a pretty decent overview of all the things. I mean, still considered it was still an alpha, of course.
Yeah, and I
some
think
things are really rough, but overall, I think it looked pretty good actually. And I mean, we're like 3 days away from the
exactly.
from the beta, so I mean, everyone's gonna judge the game like crazy starting Wednesday, and we are gonna be the people who are gonna judge it the most probably.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm still hyped after seeing the league gameplay, to be honest.
Yeah, obviously, me too. But I also think, if I'm not mistaken, that the FPS was capped at 30 or at 60. I don't remember exactly.
That was some.
I think it was at 30. Yeah, so that's also a thing that made it look a lot worse than it actually was, I think. But yeah, the game itself, I don't think, like, a lot of people want the new BF4 or BF3, but I don't think we can expect that. We have to look at what BF5 did, and then, you know, base it on that. I also think that there won't be like a farmable game, as we call it. You'll be able to perform, but I think that the focus of the game will be more around, like, you know, having fun and doing the teamwork, instead of having like crazy unbalanced maps like Siege or you know, as much fun as it is to play a map like Siege, it is completely unbalanced for, you know, it's only fun for 2 people, and that's the 2 people in the attack heli.
Yeah, and I think that's also something they really want to avoid. I mean, if you look at BF5 and BF1, it kind of looks like they got the hang of like casual gameplay and like catering to the most people, and it's just a setting that was basically annoying a lot of people. Like, you didn't have that Battlefield moment. But I think with the new game, we can't really compare it to BF4 anymore. I mean, if you look at it, BF4 came out in 2014. That's 7 years ago. They had a different engine. And we're gonna have like double the player size. And I think the game is gonna feel a lot different compared to BF4, to be honest. I think the only thing that you can really compare it with BF4 is the vehicle gameplay and the gadgets, probably.
Yep. That's going to be very interesting. I think where there is a will, there is a way. I'm sure we're going to see some very high kill games.
Definitely.
And I think balance is one thing in Battlefield. Even in Battlefield 5, like, you can see, like, as Dalton said, you can still perform. And I really hope that it keeps some of that sandbox feeling that I love so much about Battlefield, because I got really, really good at what I did in Battlefield 4. But there would always be someone who's better than you. And that's what I found. Like, every time I play Battlefield now, it's still exciting. Like, I play Battlefield 4, and I think I reinstalled like earlier this year. I was playing a bunch of Overwatch the last like 2 years. And I reinstalled earlier this year, and every time I fire up Battlefield 4, I'm like, something happens, and I'm like, wow, I've never seen that before. That's incredible. That's hilarious. That's the worst thing I've ever seen. I want to die. Like, it's something that just has never happened before. And every time I fire up, I don't know, CS:GO, Call of Duty, Overwatch, it's like, oh yeah, this thing again. Okay. And then like I go to bed and I cry because video game bad. And it's like I just hope that it keeps some of that sandbox feeling, that you can always experience something new, and then hopefully it keeps some of the skill gaps that, like, no matter how good people get, eventually your ego is gonna be checked, and you're gonna see if you're really as good as you thought you were.
I mean, if you have a look at, I've talked about it before, but the Battlefield subreddits, Reddit people are kind of special, I know, but if you there's some interesting opinions in that subreddit, and I don't think they're like the majority of them, but you can from some posts, if you take the main subreddit, like the Battlefield one, which has like, I don't know, 500,000 people on it or something. I don't know how many people, but the biggest Battlefield subreddit. And there's some upvoted opinions where I'm like, okay, did you play the game more than 5 hours? Like, but what a lot of players actually call for are like gadgets or ways to kill players, so that no one is able to go 102 or something. And while I agree that OP vehicles or OP guns or something are pretty bad, these players basically just never want any good player in their game. And I've seen that in a lot of posts on Twitter as well, and especially the crowd that is against vehicle players is so big in Battlefield that I'm kind of like, dude, will we ever have a Battlefield game again where we can easily play vehicles without getting scuffed after 5 minutes because 30 people are shooting at us with like this one weapon that auto-locks you across the map?
64 in 2042,
Yeah.
man. It's gonna be interesting. 64 people with one-shot stingers, man. Like, what's there not to love? I think, I hope, I really do. I really hope that the bot support is going to take those players and just tell them, you want to play against people like you, play against bots. And then like those people can play against bots and they get their experience. And people will want to play a video game, not just like, laying on the couch with a controller, eating a bag of Doritos, but that want to like, play a video game to be excited and be involved and, maybe even have a challenge. Because, I mean, that's what like the Battle Royale genre is huge. And that's like tens of challenges every game you play in a Battle Royale. And you're always going up against players who could be better than you. So I think there's like, it's an incredibly vocal minority of people that like hate good players in these franchises. It's very annoying when like in Battlefield 4, especially when you go up against a good attack-heavy team and like you're just trying to play a bit of infantry, or like you just want to tank, and it's like this attack-heavy and there's nothing you can do because if you get good enough, the only thing that can beat you is someone who's better in the same vehicle. So like something where like it's also map design, where if there's only one elevator up to Big D on Shanghai, there's only one place they can come from to try and kill you in the attack heli, so you just watch that one elevator. I hope that the map design in 2042 is a bit better so that it gives you more mobility, more options. And then with 64 players, it's going to be a lot harder for 2 or 4 or 6 people to completely dominate a server. But I think, as they said in the developer interviews and stuff, there's going to be pockets of combat on the maps if it works out as the developers intended. So you might be able to get a squad together and dominate a side of the map with your attack heli. But then, like, the plebs are just going to be like, I don't like this flag. There's like this attack heli. I don't want to be here. And then they just go somewhere else. And then it's up to you to follow them. If the map design is good, then that's going to be really difficult. And that's going to be the challenge that I'm kind of hoping for. Because I like stunts, I like flying my heli in cool ways. So if we get some of that and some good map design, I'm all for it.
I also think it like you say, the vehicle balance. But then if you look at the latest game, BF5, I think the vehicles are even more unbalanced than they are in BF4. Like
in a different way, I think.
In a different way, yeah.
If you look at the some of the playing gameplay I've seen, they have the recharge mechanic of the for the ammunition.
It's insane.
That just causes so much pain. Tanks are sitting in the spawn, shooting from there and getting the kills, and then there are bombers which have like this one loadout where they can drop one bomb and kill 20 infantry. But because the Fliegerfaust is so powerful, they have to sit and spawn and drop the bombs from there. And yeah.
Yeah, and what June says in the chat as well is the animations. The animations you get in a vehicle. I don't know who decided it was a good idea, but it is so. Oh, I hate it so much. Like, especially like when you see a vehicle coming in. Like I've played some Battlefield 5 over the past weeks to experience it a bit. And like you're playing as infantry, and all of a sudden there's like a vehicle that drives past, and the guy just teleports out of the vehicle, out of his animation. He just kills you while he's still in the animation. It is so broken sometimes. And then when you're driving, for example, like sometimes you want to get out and you die while you're like, it's so broken, I think. And I really hope that they just remove it from the game.
Yeah, I think it also kind of makes the sandbox experience less fun, to be honest. I mean, if you look at some of the weirdest shit that has been done in BF4 and BF3, it was stuff like if you take, for example, Lost Ghost clip, where he basically render-zooked out of a helicopter.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not possible. But I mean, I think we've seen enter and exit animations for vehicles for Battlefield 2042, right?
I'm not sure.
I don't think we have.
The last thing I knew was that it didn't look like there was any.
Oh, okay.
But I have to say, I've been looking at a lot of Warzone gameplay because of work, and I think they did enter and exit animations all right. Their vehicle physics suck so bad. It's so horrible. Like I look at it a whole bunch, and I don't know what happened, but it's like all the vehicles are made out of cardboard and like I don't know, like bungee ropes. Like it's all so wacky. But when you get in and out of a vehicle in Warzone, like your character does the animation, but you're in already, and then I think out is instant. Like you jump out and it's instantaneous. So like there's a little bit of the cool factor of having an animation to get into a vehicle, and like it looks nice. But then when you get out where like it actually matters, like when you get into the vehicle, you can drive it before the animation is complete. Like as soon as you press the button, you can start driving the vehicle, but the character is still like kind of climbing into, and it looks kind of stupid. But then when you get out, it's instant.
No, I think a good way to do it would be like if you spawn in a vehicle or if you first get into it, then there's an animation. But like when you're playing it and you get in or out of it, I think then there shouldn't be an animation, Then you have a bit of, you have like a nice way to animate the thing, like you're getting in the vehicle and you have the immersion, that they want. But then while you're playing the game, you just remove that from it, so you don't ruin the gameplay, I think that would be a good way.
I've actually heard a lot of people arguing for animations, but most of the stuff they're talking about are like, yeah, I mean, if a tank player is alone and he's jumping out of the tank to repair his tank every 5 seconds, then that's kind of broken. And some of these arguments are actually, I don't know, man. Does it make such a huge difference for you if the tank driver can jump out? I mean, if he jumps out in action, he's gonna get killed, and you can steal his tank. Like exiting and entering animations are just, I don't know.
They're supposed to look pretty, but what I noticed with Warzone is like they look pretty for the first time. They're like, oh yeah, that guy like jumping into that car, like that's pretty neat, and like that guy like climbing into that truck, yeah, it looks all right. But then you notice like, wait, you can start driving while the guy is on the ladder into the truck. Like both of his feet are still outside the truck, and you're already going 60 miles an hour. Like it just looks wacky. It's like the intention is like, oh yeah, immersion, and it looks cool and whatever. But then the execution is just like, it doesn't really work. Just skip the animation. It doesn't really break immersion. To me at least, like I get into a scout heli in Battlefield, and like I jump in and out, and I seat switch, and I shoot jets with my small, and I still feel like I feel cool. Like that's the point. You're supposed to feel cool, and it's these kind of modern warfare, low futuristic vehicles, and it just feels great. And that's the point. I think it's not just. It shouldn't just look cool to look cool. It should be cool. It should feel cool. It should
Yeah.
play nice.
Yeah,
I hope
definitely.
that we
But I think
get that.
a lot of what we see is players asking for immersion, and a lot of people who think that the Battlefield should be a like a milsim, like it used to. Like they're always referring to the old Battlefield, to Battlefield 2, and they want that back. And I think it's just unrealistic. Like Battlefield is an arcade shooter, and anyone who argues that it isn't is just you're just an idiot. But it's true. Like, I understand where the milsim comes from, like from consoles where there weren't or there aren't a lot of milsim options, and then like they tried to implement it in BF4 where they had a chance to do it with the custom servers. But like it's somehow that community became so vocal on PC as well that like everything you see on Reddit or on Twitter is always like make it more realistic. If a scout tell you, if I shoot at him, his rotor should be disabled and he should crash. Like you always read stuff like that, but I wonder like what are these people thinking?
Yeah, but gladly most of them get shot down like fairly quickly in their arguments because Battlefield was always not a milsim, and I think everyone can agree on that.
Yep.
But what you actually just said, that the rotors should like get destroyed if you shoot them. I think we have seen that you can damage individual parts on vehicles. What is your opinion on that?
I think it's a cool thing to add, but I'm not sure how it will play. So I'm a bit skeptical about it, but I think it would be like I've always imagined, when you're shooting at a heli, it would be nice like to hit a weak point, or when you're shooting a tank to hit a weak point and to do extra damage. But they have to balance it correctly, I think. Like it shouldn't be something too easy to hit, but also not too hard. So I think it could be interesting, but it depends on how they implement it into the game.
Yeah. I agree with that, and what I think about like weak spots and stuff, it's like once you know, and if you're the better player, it's just so unfair for the other person. That's what I notice in Overwatch, especially. If I go play with friends who are like lower rank, and I just play the thing that I know the enemy team is weak against, like I just feel scummy. It's like I just play this character, and the enemy team, that plays the character that I'm good against, and now I get a free win for me and my friends. And it's like I contributed nothing to this. I didn't have any fun. They didn't have any fun. Everybody hates each other now, and it's like that's not the point. The point is like you want some counter abilities, and you want to be able to do something about the player or the vehicle, but the implementation is always so difficult. It's like it just ends up like you just end up being able to play fun police too easily with any like weak spots or like hard counters, especially like hard counters. You just end up like everybody's just playing fun police. Nobody's having fun. Everybody hates each other. So I think you need to have a little bit of the chaos and a little bit of the
But I would
the annoying stuff.
I would rather see something implemented like the weak spots in the helis or in the vehicles. I would rather see that than have to deal with like multiple lock-on spams or actives or whatever. I'd rather see like a skillful way to counter vehicles than just a regular I lock you and I shoot you and you die.
Yeah, and I mean, what is also like a big problem that's is probably one of the main reasons why so many people are so vocal about nerfing vehicles is because they're infantry and they pretty much can't do anything against a really good vehicle player. But what you just said, Dalton, that's also like I don't know how I feel about lock-ons in Battlefield. Like I know that there has to be at least one type of lock-on against air vehicles. Otherwise, they're gonna be completely broken. Like there's no way for players to fight back. But when where it needs to stop is stuff like AA mines and all that kind of stuff. Like I know people who are just gonna play infantry, like Stolly, for example, they're they're always gonna be for stuff like actives and AA mines, but stuff like that is just taking the skill out of the game, like at its core. Like
Yep.
you don't have
I
to
do
do
think
anything.
yeah, the thing with AA mines is like they're still buggy. You can kill an AA mine, but it won't actually die. And then like you're like, all right, I got equipment destroyed, and the thing is like, it looks destroyed, and then you fly near it, and it still hits you, and you're like, like what? How does that work? So the implementation is horrible, and then you have such a hard time spotting an AA mine in Battlefield 4. It's like this really small black thing that is just so easily hidden in all the other stuff that's going on in the game. So I think an AA mine is a cool concept. I think the idea is nice because you have ground mines. It's in the future. Like you can have an AA mine, but just put a red laser on it or something. Make it like bright yellow, like black and yellow stripes, or put a red laser on it so there's like a red blinking dot there that you can see like, oh, there's an AA mine there if you pay attention. Because if you have like 64 players on the enemy team, spotting a couple of AA mines is going to be impossible.
Yeah, but I also think that, for example, the BF4 AA mine is just so bad because like it just shoots you, right? It doesn't lock, it just shoots. So I think another way to fix it is just like add a couple seconds of locking. So the pilot actually has a chance to use ECM if he has his ECM, Because that's the thing now. If you want to dodge an aim, it's impossible. Like either you're lucky that you can ECM right on time, or but there's no way to actively avoid them. Even like the range on them, I feel like is very random. Sometimes it shoots you instantly on like 20 meters away, and then other times you're like 5 meters from it and it doesn't activate. So I think we can see them in the next game if they're like properly balanced and not broken like they are now.
Yeah, but what I actually wanted to talk about as well is Money just said if attack helicopter is an issue only when pros use it, then it's not an issue. And I think that pretty much hits the nail on the head, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, I still think maps like Siege are pretty broken for attack helo. But if you look at the facts, like at the statistics, like look at is there a mediocre attack helo player that can go 100 to 0? Like a pilot, not a gunner,
Impossible.
of course, can always go 100 to 0 with a good pilot, but is there like a mediocre heli crew that can easily go 100 to 0? And the answer is definitely no. Then it isn't that much of an issue, in my opinion.
I think it's an
the
issue on a
issue
map
is-
like Siege.
The issue is map design,
Yeah.
100%. Like even on Dawnbreaker, I remember being a pleb, and like I have a clip of me. I think I was playing with Calypso, and I watched it like a month ago or something on my YouTube with somebody. I have a clip of me going up in the Z11 against Nebo and like some Russian gunner in the attack heli on the US side of Dawnbreaker. And I'm just like, I'm 0.5 KD hunter. Like I don't know how to fly the helicopter. So I'm just like flying the Z11, and I did like the Windows Movie Maker editing, and I'm like, haha, lay the bait. I'm coming in like trying to spawn camp Nebo in the attack heli. And then like he starts shooting me. I'm like, oh god, like I don't know how to aim. I fly away, and then like I hide my scout heli and jump out. And the attack heli comes, and because the map design is so good, he can't just have the overview that you have on Siege, for example. So I'm just hiding in this little crevice, and I see him fly by, and bang, I smaw him, and I'm like, woo, like I'm turning in circles and I'm jumping around, and I'm having a good time because I had a chance because the map design was good. I'm an absolute pleb, but I had a chance to kill this guy who had like at that point he already had like 100,000 kills in the helicopters. And I was like, yeah, I did. I was jumping around, I finally killed him. He was going like 70-2 or something, and I had a chance against like as somebody who has sub 1 KD, like absolutely horrible player, because the map design was all right. I did have
But
a
I think
chance.
what Brad says is also a good point. Since it's a casual game, you can't prioritize skill over fun. That's true. I will never, like, of course, I find stingers annoying. But if I die to a stinger, it's my fault. I made a mistake and I died to it.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's an AA mine or an igla that bugs you, then that is, I think that is the problem that we have. Like, stingers are completely fine for me. I think they should be in the game. They had like a way to pressure heli pilots and to pressure jet pilots. But the problem is where it becomes broken and it's uncounterable. Like an igla sometimes just flies straight through your ECM. I think that is just something that shouldn't be in the game. AA mine, the same thing, but at the same time, I really feel like lock-ons have to be in the game. They need to be there, but they shouldn't be, they shouldn't be random. They should be counterable by a good pilot, and I think that's the main issue.
Yeah, but also what you said, pressure. I think that's the thing. Like, a stinger isn't that skillful. So what it should do is not kill the heli, but put pressure on it and like make it so the player has to actually go around that stinger or outplay you. What a lot of people are saying who are like only infantry players. They're like, yeah, increase the damage of the stinger and the speed of the stinger so we can actually kill like as one lonely guy at a scout heli. But that shouldn't be a thing, in my opinion. Like a scout heli should be able to avoid like a single guy with a stinger. Otherwise the vehicle is completely useless, in my opinion. I completely agree. Like, lock-ons have to be in a game, but like normal lock-ons and not broken stuff like active missiles and stuff.
Yeah. But what June says, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's extremely possible, that the ECM point is to drop before the rocket shoots at you. Well, kinda yes, but at the same time, flares are meant to be used, after the rocket shot, and the igla still hits you through it. It has to do with like the moment you ECM or you flare, the igla flies at like a velocity towards you, and like if you don't move out of the way, it just hits you. And that's something that a lot of
And it's so fast.
And
the
it's so
igla is like
fast,
what,
yeah, it's
1,000 meters per second. It's like what but the thing about the igla is it's just insanely fast, and if you deploy countermeasures with the stinger flies around the countermeasures in circles and like doesn't know what to do. The igla just loses the lock and flies in a straight line, but insanely fast. So sometimes you're better off not using countermeasures against an igla, because then you just try to dodge behind a building, and because it flies in a straight line after it loses the lock, it flies above you. If you ECM, then it comes from below you and hits you right in the butt. It's like if you try to just dodge down behind a building, it goes over you. If you ECM and try to fly away, it hits you right in the butt. And that's the thing about the igla. It's so counterintuitive. You deploy your countermeasures, but actually you're making it harder for yourself in a lot of situations.
But while we're actually talking about balancing stuff, I'm actually really excited to see how everything turns out in this game, because I feel like this is one of the freshest takes we had in Battlefield in a long time. Double the players count and like huge maps. Like Conquest is gonna get overworked. Like you don't have single flags but like sectors.
Yep.
And it's gonna be interesting to see how vehicles especially play in this, because you said a few minutes ago, like infantry can just avoid you if you're stuck to one sector. But what happens if attack helos, scouts, and jets? They're fast vehicles, but how is it going to turn out if you traverse between these points? Like, are you going to get locked down by stingers the whole time, or how is the vehicle versus vehicle fights going to be like? Because from what we've seen, it's possible that we have like 4 or 3 attack helos from each side.
Yep.
Like that's.
Yeah, and another thing that you bring up is the large player count that I want to pick up on. How do you feel about it? Because I think me personally, I think the concept is nice, but what I'm worried about is the performance.
Yeah,
like
it's gonna be rough.
If you look at the BF5 performance, that game, like I have an i9 900K with a 3070 Ti, and I still drop below 200 FPS on all low. So, you know, I feel like if they have the same performance as BF5, but with a bigger map and bigger player count, and I think
I'm
that's something.
expecting I'm
Yeah.
expecting a Battlefield 4 type launch. That's why I mentioned that. Like I'm expecting it to be real rough. Like I mean they already said last gen consoles only get 64 players, right?
Yep.
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 And like it's obviously gonna be intense for computers. I hope that, you know, because they overworked Conquest in the way they did, I kind of hope that they implement something where you don't have to render the whole map. You know, like you're in that zone and you just render the zone and it puts a skybox around that zone. And then when you like traverse, it loads the map because then there's not that many buildings and players around. So, you know, I really hope that they thought about that and they didn't just do the Frostbite thing where they're like, this looks cool, so it's okay that you only have 60 FPS. You know, like they did that with Battlefield 4. They did that with Battlefield 3. Like the games were visually stunning, absolutely beautiful for the time. But they ran at like 100 FPS, 60 FPS. I mean, Battlefield 3 was like way back in the beginning of it. If you got 60 FPS, you were happy. You know, like 144 hertz monitors weren't really a thing yet. And, you know, people got 60 FPS and they were like, yeah, it's all right. You know, sometimes I get 50, sometimes I get 40. And this is cool. But then, like, when, you know, now that we were at monitor refresh rates of 240, 360 hertz, it's like, yeah, people like the smoothness and people want that. But man, like 60 is enough. 120 is nice. 200 is like buttery smooth. Like you want to play Battlefield 2042, you want to have 128 players, sacrifice some frames for a couple of years. Like, you know, you managed to do it. Like if you've been playing video games for a while, you managed to do it on 60 FPS, you managed to do it on 144. It's all right. Like the game is going to be important. You know, I've never been one to care much about setup and frames and all that.
Yeah, me neither.
Like I've come across some people who have played on a potato, literally in the Brazilian jungle, who would absolutely destroy me. And it's like, okay, obviously, you know, you can you know play fucking Battlefield 4 on the worst possible setup somewhere in the jungle and still be, you know, one of the best. So I really hope that the base game is good and that the problems it's going to have are fun. I hope that the trouble is going to be worth it.
Don't act like every one of us and everyone in chat, the very first thing we're gonna do when we load up the game is go into the graphics settings and put everything on low. Like that's gonna be the first thing every one of us does because we're all like, yeah, we need more frames. Yep. But I think I'm one of the except mesh. Yeah, you're right. Mesh quality is gonna be all the way up. Probably there's gonna be like ultra setting for mesh quality with like these big ass maps. But I was always like 60 FPS, and I'm good, to be honest. Like I mean, have you guys seen the requirements for the beta?
Yeah.
Dude, 3060 recommended settings. I'm playing on 1440p. Yep. And I have a 2080, and I'm sweating over here. Like,
yep. I mean, I'm still on the 1080. I'm gonna get a new system earlier next year. I've been saving up for a whole while, but I'm gonna be here on my like 8700K and the 1080. So like I'm definitely gonna be struggling. Like I'm expecting at least on 128 players. I'm expecting if I want to record or if I want to do something, video or streaming, 60 FPS. Like I'm just gonna be like, yep, that's what it is.
I think
I'm hoping for 100, but
I think the thing is like if I'm talking about high FPS because I have a good system, so I want my high frames, right? But if I have low frames on this system, for example, that means that someone with a worse system than mine will have even like lower frames. Yeah. You know, so I think It's a rough one because okay, sacrifice some frames, sure, but we're in 2021, so battle royales can do it. They have big maps, they have high player count, so why shouldn't Battlefield be able to do it?
That's what
That's true.
that's what I'm hoping for, that they thought about that. I mean, what was it? Battlefront 2 had insane performance, right? Like the game was
True.
incredible
Yep.
visually, but 240 FPS, no problem.
Yep,
You know,
exactly.
and I
Yes.
really hope that they can implement something where they've had a lot of studios working on it. So from the beginning that I saw the trailers, I said this can go either one of two ways. They either had all the individual studios work on the things that they're good at, and then they can't put it together because like there's no working in between, because like the trailer was insane, like the marketing was amazing, it seemed like so enthusiastic, but are they going to be able to put it together, or do they have all these studios working with each other and trying to figure out like, okay, we have these people over here who are designing the map, they talk to the people who are responsible for the engine and the rendering, are they going to be able to make it so that, hey, I can have this cool map but also it doesn't render the whole like 10 million square kilometers at the same time, and it can split it up into chunks, which I hope that they had some communication and they
What the
figured
people
it
in
out.
chat are saying, actually, DLSS might be actually a lifesaver for a lot of people when it
Yeah.
comes to FPS. I mean,
Um,
I'm not the biggest fan of it because sometimes it looks so bad after you've upped the DLSS setting. But I don't know. Maybe it's gonna be like the lifesaver for a lot of people.
Yeah, DLSS is going to be great, but take a look at the Steam hardware survey.
How many people?
Most people are on 1050s,
Yeah.
man.
Oh, yeah,
Most
yeah.
people are like 1050 Ti is still the most popular GPU. So, um, I really hope that. I mean, Battlefront 2 did it. Battlefield 5 is still okay, like 200 frames, 150 frames. That's insane. Like Battlefield 5 is really big, visually stunning. Like there's so much going on, like the explosions and everything. There's so many particle effects that like I know a thing or two about particle effects by now, working with After Effects for a while. Like making that stuff run at all in real time is insane. So having that much of it and having it run at over 150 FPS is impressive, and I think it looks good. I can't really imagine that they would just say like, okay, fuck everybody who has anything less than a 3080. We're gonna make this game like big and like insane. Maybe it's gonna get the Apex Legends treatment, and the low settings is literally like 3 polygons for a player model, and they call it a day. But also,
Yeah, but we're also talking about like the 128 players, but probably there will be smaller modes as well, right?
oh
Like,
yeah,
I
obviously.
think we'll see like a big scale conquest mode for the 128, and then hopefully like a smaller scale map for like 64 players or even less maybe, or like somewhere in between. But I think the 128 will be hard to run, but I hope that they provide other options for like people with worse PCs, I think.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's going to be a thing like in Battlefield 4 where you have your conquest large and you have your conquest small, and you can really even in Battlefield 4 you can pick and choose the experience. Like we've had a lot of different experiences, even back in the day in Battlefield 4, where people just made custom servers and they're like, hey, here's all the water maps, here's all the city maps but in small, here's all the so with that, and then with Portal coming eventually, you're gonna
Yeah.
have so many options for people to customize the experience that I think there's going to be well enough variety.
Yeah, I
So,
think Portal is a godsend for everyone that has played Battlefield before. I feel like a lot of the stuff we're talking about and it's gonna get fixed just because people have the option to be their own admin without having to pay for a server. And especially if you can change the stuff to BF3 for example, which in my opinion had one of the best balancing like when it comes to air vehicles and ground vehicles and stuff. But
I think
dude,
Portal is a really good, like a very good idea and concept.
It's
The one worry that I have is how they will handle the servers. Because the way I understand it, I could be wrong, but is that you make your server, you join it, people are able to join it, but the moment you leave your server or it gets empty, it disappears, you know? So I think it's the way that you join, it runs, you leave, it stops. And I think that's a bit I don't see that working for a public server, at least. Like for competitive, for private matches, it's all fun and good. But I don't see how a public server can operate like that.
yeah, I'm not sure actually on that because from what I've told, it seems like you can save your presets
Yeah.
and other people can save those presets as well. And I don't think that's going to be so much of a problem because if there's one good type of preset and people like that, then there's always going to be people who will spawn new servers with those settings.
Yep.
So
Minecraft has done that very successfully. Overwatch has completely failed at that. So it's like, Minecraft where people just mod it, and then it's that. It's incredibly rich kind of game. There's so many like vanilla Minecraft is rarely played by people nowadays. People play like fucking like Bed Wars and like
yeah.
Minecraft Battle Royale. There's like so much stuff now. But and yeah, like Counter Strike as well. I mean, Counter Strike has had custom servers and all that, and for forever. So there's a lot of potential. The question is like, how easy is it to discover? Like Overwatch is now implementing, like 2 years later, they had a workshop for ages. They're now implementing stuff that you can discover games easier. But discoverability is really going to be key. Because like if you make a great game mode and you share it like with your try-hard friends, how is it going to reach anyone who's just playing the game looking for an interesting experience? It's going to be a little difficult. So
yeah, needs to have a good server browser and stuff. That I agree on that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think like for me I'm a big part of competitive and like I don't really want to play anymore, but I want to like organize further with Enter and see where we can take it. And like Portal is just like a gift from God, like the possibilities will be endless. But the one thing, that they said there wouldn't be there is spectator mode. And I think that is a very, very big problem. Not only for like competitive, but also for content creation. Like the amount of people doing cinematics.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird.
It's gonna be rough to make stuff, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be like BF3 again, where people are gonna find a glitch with the MAV where you can basically hide all the HUD, and then there's gonna be a MAV flying around being the spectator,
Yeah, but that's very worrisome, I think. Like,
Yeah.
especially looking at BF4 and seeing how the spectator wasn't perfect, but it was great, right? It was a good spectator mode. It worked. If they would have just like taken that, built upon that, and improved on that. But instead, they decided not to do it, or maybe they are, but
Yeah, it's not going to be there on launch. I think eventually they'll come around to it. Just because like content creation is king nowadays. Like I see, with the work that I do, with just like a small little video somewhere can just make you so much money. It's like, how do you like you get a bunch of people excited for something, and it's free money. Like all of these content creators are just like ready for the milking. Like you just got to give them the tools to make it interesting. And a lot of games like that got really popular really did that well. So I hope that they get around to it. The base game, I think, is going to have a spectator, because they only said Portal is not going to have one.
I
So
think the entire game, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I'm not.
I'm not too sure on that. I have no idea.
I hope they get around to it, but I think we'll be fine for the start, and at least at least I don't have to record any cinematics if I want to make some funny videos just to fit in, just to look cool. I can be like, oh, I wanted to record a cinematic, but they didn't allow me to. Yeah, I have an excuse, so I don't. I'm not complaining. I've never been a big fan of recording cinematics.
Yeah, it says there will be no spectator mode in Portal.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And there will be spectator mode for the base game, according to BF Bulletin.
Wait, really?
Yeah, there will be.
Well, if we want to believe the source, so
so BF Bulletin, it sounds like there will be spectator for the base game, but just not for Portal. Also, it may be coming post-launch.
Yeah, I was about to say like that they would be stupid if they would.
Yeah,
wouldn't just add
it
it
doesn't
to
make
port
any
later
sense.
on.
Yeah. But I don't think it will come on launch. Maybe with the extra month and a half or something that they got, maybe they worked on it and they included it, but I doubt it.
Yeah, now that you say that, like a lot of the stuff that we've heard the last few months, it looks like they had like not enough time for a lot of the things for the game. Like,
and
yeah, but it's Battlefield 4 all over again. I'm
They're-
excited for it.
Their marketing
I'm really
is
excited.
their marketing is just a mess. Honestly, they've embarrassed themselves. I think like the way they led up like we're gonna release more gameplay trailers, we're gonna release more this, more that, but then in the end,
no, and the September meme. Oh,
yeah, and then they posted the September meme. Yeah, it's just bad. Like they posted that thing for September and they were like, yeah, we're gonna release it, and then to come back on that.
I kind of like that, man. I kind of like that. I'm excited for it. I don't, it's a video game, man. Like this shit's supposed to be fun. Yeah, I work in this field now. I work for and with content creators, and it's like, yeah, it would be nice if everything just happened right now and it was all there and everything was great. But it's also supposed to be fun.
It's supposed to
video
be
games.
fun, but I think as a
You
big
can't.
company, you embarrass yourself by doing something like that. It's fun, but
I think it's still pretty minor though. Like if you look at after they've posted the info or the announcement for the beta, no one is talking about their shit marketing anymore.
No.
To be honest.
No,
And like
that's true, that's true.
big movies get delayed. Like the fucking Marvel movies have had trouble because of the coronavirus.
No,
Like
but
they're not pumping out as
I
much
think a delay is justified and it should be possible, but it's just the way that they went about it. Like a couple of months ago, they literally said, we're ahead of schedule. I think in August even they said that they were ahead of schedule, and then to a month and a half later you have to delay the game. It's just and as you said, Marine, the trailer launched and everyone forgets about it, but it's still, in my opinion, I think it's a bit, if the marketing team isn't up to date with what the development team is doing, I feel like it's.
I for me, it's just a bit worrying that we'll see a shit show of a launch. I don't know in what way, but I don't know if I'm gonna be fine if it's only for PS4 and Xbox One, for the Xbox One version. If that's gonna have like really rough performance and stuff, I don't really care, to be honest. But I don't know if there's like 2 maps that are not playable, or I have no idea. But I have the feeling that there's gonna be something pretty big. But yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, we're gonna get our first gameplay on Wednesday, and yeah, I don't think we'll see that much of a problem with the game on Wednesday, though. To be honest, if something's gonna happen, then it's gonna happen on the release of the game.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to Wednesday, to be honest. Like just playing it and experiencing what the next game will be like, even if it's like a small taste, will just be so much fun and like relearning a new game, experiencing a new game. Also the cosmetics that they've added and the progression looks very cool, I think.
Yeah.
Like that's something that Battlefield has always missed, right? Like a reason to grind the game and to unlock stuff, and even though it's just some skins, but it just makes the grinding the game a lot more fun.
I have seen some anime skins. I might actually be able to get my girlfriend into the game, you know, because like I've been trying to get some more people from my time in Overwatch to play some Battlefield and just like because
Nice.
I play Overwatch with these people and it's like everybody's just having a bad time and I'm like over there like being toxic and I'm like doing wacky stuff and like everybody's just having a bad time and I'm like, hey, come on, man, let's go and play the fun game, like let's do something fun. But it's really hard to get people who are like used to the Fortnites, used to the Overwatches, the like League of Legends and shit.
Hmm.
To get those people into Battlefield is really difficult. So making it like the visual spectacle and like the over the top visual effects and like special effects that I've talked about, where like I've seen like a helicopter deploy flares and it's like this insane thing and it's like it's like 100,000 flares coming out of the helicopter.
And they
It's like,
bounce off the
yeah,
ground.
and like that's attractive to more of the Fortnite, Overwatch, like flashy colors kind of gamers that are more used to that. So if they strike a decent balance, I think the game's going to be really cool and also really flashy. It's going to have like the gunplay and the vehicles. For the most part, they look crisp. Like the one attack helicopter with like the weird like circle thing in the rotor, like the radar,
Oh yeah,
whatever
yeah.
thing, and the rotor is like it's just not really. I don't know what they were thinking, but other than that, it looks pretty crisp for the most part. And then hopefully, it's gonna attract some more plebs with the flashiness of it.
Yeah, what's also really important, I think, especially for people here in chat and for us as well, is that there's a new Battlefield game that's actually populated, and there's gonna be so many people on Twitch, on YouTube,
Yep.
and what I noticed is when they put Battlefield 4 on Prime Gaming, like I had so much fun streaming that game and just playing it again because there were so many servers. Everyone was talking about the game again, and I don't know, it kind of makes the gameplay itself as well like so much more enjoyable.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same for you guys, but
Battlefield, yep.
I also think now the community is very split, right? We have the people who don't
Yeah.
leave BF4, we have the people who don't leave BF1, and then we have the people who play BF5. And then in the next game, like most of those people will come together. That's like one big community that will form, and we have crossplay. So we have to like also take in
Oh,
consideration that we have the PlayStation and Xbox gamers playing on our servers. So it's going
God
to be
help
like,
us all.
yeah, God help us all. Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how they handle the aim assist in today's climate,
Oh yeah.
because
It's gonna be horrible.
aim assist never was an issue for me when I played on console, because it was always like it was like the tapping, right? You tap and then it like leads your aim into the target. But the way they're doing it now, like I've seen clips where a controller is just like they're holding the controller, not moving anything, and you can see like the crosshair moving with the target,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, it's like little aimbots. That's what it is.
yeah,
And I mean, they need it. Like playing with a controller sucks compared to mouse and keyboard. Like I'm working for a guy right now who is one of the best snipers in Warzone with a controller. The guy is absolutely cracked out, and he's literally disabled. Like he's completely handicapped, but he's making it work. And the aim assist in that game is pretty strong.
Yeah.
Not so much on the snipers, but like you can definitely tell where like he's just limited. Where you see like he's playing with Stoddy and like Stod can just 180 flick in one frame. This guy has to like move the sticks and like do all this stuff, and they need the aim assist because it is a big handicap to like just hold a controller in your hands. But it's like if the aim assist aims center of mass, yeah, cool. If the aim assist just snaps to people's heads, now you have a problem. Like that's straight up just a hacker That's just a hacker. There's no, you know,
Like
no
the
assisting
latest,
there. It's playing the game for them.
the latest
So,
COD is a prime example of that. The Vanguard
Yep.
beta was just. I've seen clips, man, of it was unbelievable. Like it's literally an aimbot. It's like you said, it's a hack. It's an aimbot. It's no
Yep.
longer
That's
aim.
what,
It's no longer an assist. It's something that does the work for you, and I think
Yep.
that's a big problem. And I really hope that they somehow nail it, but I doubt
Yeah,
it.
same. I mean, hopefully, if it's not working, then we can actually turn the crossplay off. That would be nice. But it's gonna be interesting to see, especially. I mean, if Paddy also says it in the chat, weaker players actually on console can be as good as PC players in some areas. I think Scout Heli pilots have a bit
So
more
they
of a
think.
problem than for example jet pilots.
I think in the Jets, yeah, but I think overall in Helis they can keep up, but I think overall the higher skilled players are definitely on PC, I would say.
Yeah.
It's always interesting to go up against a controller player in a vehicle. Like the first moments, like that's a lot different. But then like you figure it out, and then mouse and keyboard, you just have so many more options, and it's like, okay, like I get it now, and now this person's easy to play against. At least that's been my experience, especially in the Scout Heli.
But getting back on like the hype, you said that Dalton, you said that the console players are also coming to PC then basically, so we have like this big player
yeah.
base. But what I think is also bigger than it has ever been before is the incentive for new players to actually start playing Battlefield, because if you look at like at the very first trailer that we got for Battlefield 2042. Dude, they knocked that one so far out of the park, man. Like that was probably one of the best first announcement trailers that I've ever seen. And I think that there were so many reaction videos for that trailer.
Yep.
I think we're gonna have like a huge player base in the beginning if the game is not completely broken, of
Yeah,
course.
and if you also look at the current climate of video games, right? What other big games are coming out, like FPS games that are notable?
Nothing.
You have the basic Call of Duty that's coming out, but other than that, like, what do you have, like, for FPS players? There is nothing.
Yeah, everyone is basically sick of Warzone at this point, to be honest.
Everyone is, you know.
Yeah, a lot of the games that are out right now are trying to save themselves. Like I see it with Warzone. They bring out like updates and they promise, and then they underdeliver, and then they bring updates and they promise, and then they underdeliver. Like every 2 months, they just try their hardest to like save the game and like save face. And if 2042 manages to be cool and everything, then it's going to be huge. If it just manages to be all right and be a little messy on launch, then it's going to be big. It's going to be, a decent, AAA game release, a fresh first-person shooter, modern setting. Haven't had that in a while. Yeah, like one thing that I remembered about Vanguard is the guy that I work for. I saw a couple of clips just playing the beta, and he was like, "What the fuck is going on? Like, this is just." He was playing with a controller, and he's aiming at people, and then he's tracking somebody who's like running this way, and then another guy comes behind him, is like running the other way, and his controller just says like, "Are you aiming at that guy? Nah, you want to aim at this guy." And just like turns his aim around 90 degrees. And he's like, "I'm holding the stick in the other direction. Why are you pulling me to like the guy back there?" And it's just like, yeah, a little overtuned. So I hope that they figured that out. And I mean, crossplay is going to be interesting for vehicle players, because there's no way a console player is going to shoot you out of the heli. There's just no way. They're not gonna like. There's no way they can make aim assist work like that with everything going on, with you like in the heli being 200 meters away. There's no way these console players are gonna hit you. So either it's going to be either, if the aim assist is overtuned, PC players are going to complain like crazy, or if it's not like hardcore enough, the console players are just going to be like, please, I don't want to play with PC players. They just shit on me all the time because they're like, the maps are huge. Like you can be hundreds of meters away from people and kill them. And in Warzone, for example, aim assist mostly cuts off after like 35 meters, and then like has another big drop after like 250, and then there's like no aim assist over 400 meters or something. So it's like, yeah, if they implement it reasonably, then it's gonna be tough on controller players because they're just handicapped. Like,
true. I actually didn't thought about that because you can't really implement aim assist for really long ranges. I mean,
that would look fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And because the thing is, the reason like it's like that in Warzone is because like all the buildings aren't rendered, all the collision isn't rendered. So if you let the aim assist work over 400 meters, you're just gonna be like aim assisting through walls across the map, and like also it would be incredibly unbalanced to give people aim assist on one-shot snipers, because Call of Duty is just always a one-shot headshot. So, yep.
Yeah, but there's definitely going to be console-only servers. I just know that. Just because there are so many people who think that every single lobby on PC is going to be infested with cheaters. And, I mean, the game is going to have a new reporting system they announced a few days ago, which is really nice. And they're
It's pretty similar to Apex and Overwatch. So
anti-cheat as well. But I don't, dude, it's gonna be so hard. Like, there's gonna be options like gameplay sabotage and stuff. And dude, I've tweeted about that before. But if the people who are looking at these reports are just as bad as the players who are giving out these reports, then I'm gonna be banned in like the first week of this game.
It's gonna be. I mean, it's gonna be speed. It's gonna be speed runs. It's gonna be interesting to see how that works. I definitely want to get together with Dalton and see how long it takes to like really be noticed by the reporting system for just being good. Like what does it take to like trigger the system? And if like Overwatch is anything to go by, or Apex is anything to go by, mostly like gameplay sabotage and stuff doesn't really do anything. Like maybe you get like a little bit of a suspension or whatever, but like you get a warning and then you just like, let me do something different for a little while, or like play in different servers and different game modes. And if you don't get reported by like too many people like right after each other, like if you had 300 kill games, go and take a break. Like that's what I do in Overwatch when like I have a bunch of good games and I'm like, yeah, all right, I'm gonna take a break. And then like I troll some people, I do some funny shit with some friends, and then it's like, okay, we've probably been reported a couple of times. Let's just take a break. And then like you switch accounts, or you just wait an hour, because it's very much about frequency in Apex and Overwatch, at least. Like if you get spam reported by 11 people in like 2 games in a row, you're done. Like you're immediately competitive cooldown, you can't play. But if you just get reported a little bit over time, you get like a warning, and then they're like, oh, if you do this again, then we're gonna punish you, and then it takes a long time.
But how is that gonna work in Battlefield? 128 players, and you go 200 in a vehicle. Do you know how many reports you will get? Did you see the vote kicks on some servers in BF4? And I've gotten vote kicked with like 25 needed votes. And I'm a bit skeptical. I just really hope they don't ban people for only playing vehicles and stuff like that. Because dude, some of the players have just no idea what's possible in Battlefield, and
yeah, it's a scary thought to give control to players who have no idea what they're talking about. Like the amount of people in Battlefield who are just so clueless on what a good player looks like or what a good player can do in a game. is just like every time, you know, when I play a locker game, there's always at least one or two people who try to vote ban me, or who are like, they think they're wall hacking or you're aim botting, or there's always something, right? And I think it's scary to give those players control over, you know, if you're going to be able to play the game or not. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they do it. And what Paddy says is, you know, a good idea, like the CS:GO system. But then, how are they going to implement it? Like, we're gonna have to see what it, you know, what happens.
Yeah, there won't be an Overwatch system like in CS:GO and Battlefield. That's not gonna happen. But dude, the problem here, I think, is that there's just so many players now in one single round that like 20 people can easily spam someone that's really good in that round. Like, yeah, but we'll just have to wait and see if how it turns out, actually, if the button does anything, because I know for a fact that good players will get spam reported like crazy.
Yeah. The thing is with spam reports, they're gonna have to pay attention to like how it's tuned, because again, I think we're gonna be saved by the content creators, because they're gonna get spam reported by people who just do it to be, you know, an asshole to them.
Yep.
You know, so they can't have it too sensitive, or all these like content creators, like, you know, Dr. Disrespect's going to play the game, and anytime somebody sees Dr. Disrespect, he's going to get reported for cheating because haha, it's funny. Like, you know, so they can't have it to be, they can't have it be too sensitive, because then, you know, all the big streamers and YouTubers are just going to get clapped as soon as, you know, enough people spot them. So I think we're going to be all right. Overwatch is pretty good on that. Like, there's a lot of people in the high ranks that I play. Like, I get into a game with them, and like we're in the starting screen of the game, and there's like 3 people already saying 11 times report and avoid this like motherfucker. I fucking hate this guy. And they like, because they play like some certain hero, or they play a certain way, or and like a shit ton of people hate them, constantly report them, but nothing happens to them because it's not valid. It's too infrequent, and it's like for the wrong reasons. And so, you know, it's like, I think we're gonna be okay. Maybe they're gonna mess it up with the fine tuning in the start, and like everyone's just gonna be banned, and then they're like, okay, we gotta detune this. But I think if somebody gets wrongfully banned, it should probably be an accident.
Another concern with like the reporting system is, you know, the trolling community, right? Like there's Battlefield is known for trolling, right? C4 quads, all the stupid stuff, right? Like, how are they going to filter that out? You know, like, will they like encourage people to do the funny stuff in Battlefield, or will they, you know, accept reports on that? So I think it's a good idea to have people reporting each other, but at the same time, it's a very, very slippery slope, if you ask me.
Yeah. And it's also going to be fun to see how they're handling some of the reports regarding like good. I mean, if you look at some of the siege rounds and you have a guy going 250 to 0, and there are guys that are getting spawn raped and stuff, like will they side with the people who are getting killed the whole time and ban that guy because he's sabotaging their gameplay? Or but then they would actually admit that their balancing of their vehicles is shit. So
yeah, that's another, like, how, in what way will they enforce the bans or the reports as a good thing? Like base raping or spawn raping, will they, you know, will they act on that? Stealing vehicle or like griefing, will they act like, and how will they check if it actually happened is another thing, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It might just be that they only have the chat logs.
Yeah, like, you know, in CS:GO, for example, they have like video that you have to review when there's a report, I believe. But I doubt Battlefield will have that. Like, I don't know. I think they will just look at stats and chat. That's basically like what Kip says. Ratio Kip. Oh, what the Ace says, it will be ratio KPM and racism. I think that's what they're going to be looking out for. Like they'll probably have like in a chat filter certain words and sentences that they have, and I think that's what they're going to look at.
Yeah. I mean, they also have the profanity filter.
Yeah, definitely. The BF5 profanity filter is just.
Is it
Yikes,
that
dude.
bad? I have
It is.
no
It
idea,
is
to be
really
honest.
bad. Like you can't, for example, what was it again? I think you can't say the word Battlefield 5 or it's some stupid shit like.
Oh yeah,
like
that was something like
yeah,
that. Yeah, I remember
half of
that.
the words, like if you write a sentence, half of the stuff is just banned. Like it just shows up in like these little asterisks. Like for example, you can't say idiot. That's banned. Idiot is a banned word.
Okay.
Stupid is a banned word. So you know you can't say like oh you're an idiot or all the stupid shit that's going on. Shit is also banned. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that is like banned in BF5. Like it's called the social justice game for a reason. Like there's
Yeah,
it's just,
Battlefield 5 was pretty crazy.
yeah.
Yeah. It was the thing that was banned was like something about that event that they had, where it was just like all of these like weird ass people, and they got together and they were like, "Oh, we're such good people," and it's like, why are you patting yourself on the back? And then people were like talking about it, and they just banned all the keywords. They
Yeah.
had like all these hashtags in the event that like they were like, oh, we're so cool and like we're such great people, and they were just like stroking themselves, and it's like what the fuck. And then they banned all those keywords. I remember that. But Overwatch has a language filter too, and you can customize it. Like you can literally say my friend group, I allow everything, and then like it gives you a little warning like, hey, you might see racism, and it's like, are your friends racist? It's like, okay. So and then you can customize your friend and the team chat and the all chat and like
I
the
think you
like
should have an
complete
option like that for sure.
game chat.
Because
So you can tailor
like
the
I'm gonna be
experience.
honest, for me, part of the biggest entertainment of BF4 is the chat. Like
Oh, yeah.
you can't deny the stupid shit. Even the racist stuff, it's offensive, sure, but at the same time, the shit that
Just
they write is just
getting people to the point where they say fucked up
yeah,
stuff
yeah.
is like, oh wait, like you're actually that mad?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's great. Like it's like it's really horrible what you just said, but the fact that you're that mad is
Yeah,
hilarious.
exactly.
Yeah, or
So
just people
it's
trying to pronounce your name or spelling
Mhm.
your name. That is just always
yeah.
like a joy. I mean,
Oh.
if you just look at it, there's a YouTuber Ravik who has his own series just for comments from chat.
Yeah, yeah.
That basically says everything about Battlefield chats.
Yeah, but I think there should be like we can't avoid the language filter. Like it's in every game. Like people get mad over stuff. They get offended by stuff. But I think there should still be like to an extent we should be able to read stuff in a chat, and I think that's part of the fun. You know, especially if you like look at older games like the Modern Warfare 2 lobbies on console, man. Like the shit you heard there, but it's offensive, but at the same time it's just fucking funny, you know.
Yeah, I personally think it's nice to like be able to tailor the experience because like if I'm playing Overwatch, man, like sometimes I just want to have a chill evening with my girlfriend and like I just turn off the chat, and it's like, oh, and then like if I still want to like know what my team is up to, I just turn on the team chat and tell it to like, hey, censor the really bad words, and then I can like do my thing and have fun and have a good time. And if somebody doesn't like it and calls me racial slurs, I don't have to read it, and it's just like, yeah, wonderful. I can tailor the experience, and I think if we can do it in gameplay, we can do it in the interactions we have with other people in the community. So
Yeah.
let them have the censoring chat if it's customizable, because like sometimes I like to see what kind of creative insults people come up with, because they can be very funny, and maybe I
Yeah.
can add them to my arsenal. And then yeah, if I don't want to hear it, then I just turn it off. So well,
Yeah, but what you just said, like having a chill game, that sums up my whole Battlefield experience, to be honest, because I always want like a streaming game or game to chill, and I think Battlefield is probably the one of the only shooters where you can actually chill.
Yeah,
Like
put
you
on some
can
music,
like
talk to your chat.
yeah, you can play Jets for a whole round and just have a chat with someone the whole time, and like I feel like every single game nowadays has to be like really competitive and all that stuff. And I get why, and I mean I also played a few rounds of competitive in BF4, and I think it's really important that you have like your own competitive scene in a game. But other than that, I'm not like the biggest competitive guy. Like I just like chilling and and Battlefield was always this kind of game where you could really chill. Like
Yep.
I remember playing. I don't know. In the beginning, when I started streaming BF3, I was only playing Jets on stream the whole time, and you could have a chat and talk about God and the world the whole time,
Oh,
and
dude.
not be stressed out at all.
I mean, that's what I did back in the day. I mean, I'd be especially with Calypso and Scout 1v1s, we'd just be under the influence, heavily under the influence, just chatting about like everything. And it was like we would sit there and Scout Heady 1v1 for 10 hours, just like I had nothing to do, medical reasons and all that, and like I would just sit there until like 4 a.m. and with Scout 1v1 everyone from Japan to Brazil, just and like it's completely whacked out of my mind, and just like have a great time with all sorts of people from everywhere, and just like chill, try hard, but chill. And like with a lot of the people in even in competitive, there was this one team that quite notoriously was always heavily under the influence in their competitive matches, and that was a great time. It was wonderful. Like it was like, yeah, we were trying, and we liked winning, but it was all for fun, and that's what I really appreciated. Like it was a rough patch in my life back then, but like Battlefield, the game and especially the people made it so fun. Like it was some of the best times of my life. Like just especially because of the community. It was
Mm,
amazing. Just
yeah.
you can play the game, but you can also just chill and talk to the people. So
Yeah, and I think it was really sad when the first Battlefield game came out after BO4, and like this huge community that we had basically just broke up, and yeah, that was actually really sad. I
Yep.
mean, we basically played together every single day, and even after BF3, like this whole level BF community basically broke down. So many people stopped playing, and yeah,
Yeah, I've like whenever like the first Battlefield 1 came out, I've always like over the years been, trying to somehow keep that community alive, in a sense where I kept playing, I kept like doing 8v8 stuff. I kept, trying to get people back into the game. But yeah, like you said, the community died, and I really hope that like with the next game we can have that feeling again where we like, we play on a server and we meet people and we talk to them for hours and hours and play with them every day and meet up with them eventually. Like some of the best friendships that I have, and even my best friends, are from this game, like from Battlefield. And I
mm,
really hope that the next game like caters to that again.
yeah,
I am looking forward to that 100%.
Yep.
same, definitely. I mean, that I think that's also the part that I meant before, where like when the game is populated again. I mean, Battlefield Hardline came out. People kept on playing Battlefield 4 because Hardline was like a spin-off. It wasn't like not really
Yeah.
like you can't really count that. But what
No.
people are saying in chats, like BF1 killed everything in my opinion. I mean, not I don't want to disregard people who enjoyed that game. Like I don't want to say like you can't enjoy that game, but just the way that the mechanics and everything works in that game, it killed the whole community.
Yep. It did.
Agreed. Yeah, and Ace said Overwatch was the new comp thing. Like that's what I got into. That was kind of the thing. Like, yeah, right. People are going and like Battlefield 1 wasn't just responsible for it. Like Battlefield 1 was responsible for people like taking a look elsewhere. But the reason people left was PUBG, Overwatch. Like a lot of people went to CS:GO even. Like a lot of the people that I played with, and I played a shit ton of Overwatch with Rune and Ace. And like I played a shit ton of Overwatch with Tommy, and like that was the big thing in 2016. Like
Yeah.
Overwatch came out, and I played with like a lot of the Americans. I played a lot of Overwatch with them, and like I still have a clip on my PC somewhere on my old HDD of me and Milos casting an OG Pepes Overwatch scrim. Like,
Oh boy, I remember.
Jesus Christ. Like, yeah, like that happened. Like, that was the thing. Like, I was there just like, dude, I was, you know, and Milos was just trying to, like cast. And I was like, whoa, dude, like fucking colors and shit, dude. Woo.
Oh, and look at Milos now, man.
Milos
was
nominated
earlier.
He's
Milos
nominated for best host, I think it is, or caster. That is insane.
Yeah, exactly. He was in here earlier, but I don't think he is still in here. But yeah, it's crazy. Like he came from like our game, you can say, and to see someone grow that big is pretty
And
wholesome to see.
He deserves it more than
He deserves it,
anyone.
definitely.
Yep.
He put in the work, and he's also really good at what he does. He's just really, really good. Like I don't really watch any Rainbow Six, but like just for watching him, I sometimes do it.
Same.
Yep.
Yeah, he's very enjoyable to watch and to listen to.
Yeah, he's great. He's always been great. Yeah, like that transition was like for me it was like all right, I've played a lot of Battlefield 4 here, and let me look at something different. Played a little bit of PUBG, wasn't really mine, I wasn't that good at infantry back then. And then I said, all right, I'm gonna prove to myself that I'm not just good at this Battlefield thing, and I tried to get good at Overwatch, and eventually did. And so I think that was really the reason that people stayed away. The reason people looked away was because Battlefield 1 was horrible. But the reason people stayed away was because there was other things, newer things. And I hope that like we see kind of the shift going back in the direction of Battlefield now. If 2042 manages to do it right, it can be the reason that people stay away, because people are looking right now. They're looking like, I want to do something different than Warzone. I want to do something different than, Overwatch. I want to do something different than like the game that I've just been grinding for the last 6 years, and it's like not been very fun for like ages now. And if Battlefield 2042 manages, then it could be the reason that people stay away from those games. And maybe we see some people come back, but we're definitely going to see a lot of new people come in, and I'm excited for that. I'm excited for any kind of launch. If it's amazing, great. But if it's rough and wacky, then hey, I'm all for it. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for all the bugs, and ready to launch some LAVs into the stratosphere and just have a good time. So
yeah. I mean, even if it's a rough launch, we're gonna play the game. I know it. You know it. And,
like there is no way that I'm staying playing BF4.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, we had some rough launches, especially BF4 ones, and we stuck through it. And we arranged some nice matches, and I think. Every single time there's a new Battlefield game, players are gonna make the best of it. It feels like, at least, and there's gonna be a meta. There's gonna be a TV bug if there's a TV, but
there's gonna be a whole lot of shit. But the thing is, we know that it's going to be there. The main thing will be how they handle it. Like
the best thing I've seen so far is the tank exit Zuzu. Like I saw a guy get out of a tank and just disappear in the floor and then
Oh yeah.
bounce back up, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's in the game. Wonderful. Let's go." Yeah,
Wear
seems
the
good.
long necks from the BF3 beta.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's gonna be some good stuff.
a lot of things to look forward to.
Yep, exactly. Well,
We are almost 2 hours in already.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think we're almost gonna end it, but I just wanna talk about one more thing that I personally
must.
want to know about, and if you wanna talk about it, but it's the hair transplant.
Okay,
I'm
that's
very
a bit of a topic change.
yeah, but, like, I'm very intrigued by the concept. Like I've never
Yeah,
known
perfect.
anyone. I've never known anyone who did it. I've never spoken to someone.
We have the three. I mean, this is the perfect setup for it because we have the 3 stages. I mean, we have to switch it around a little bit,
Yeah.
but it's like I'm full like bald. I love it. Like I'm all for it. Dalton has a luscious head of hair, and now Marine, you've had.
I will have.
You will
It's
have.
looking mighty fine. Like you're getting there.
I mean, most of the people probably already noticed, but you
Yeah.
know,
That's a better hairline than mine, man. If I try to grow my hair out, dude, I look like I'm 65.
yeah, but
Like, it's not happening.
But yeah,
So-
sure, I can tell a story, to be honest. I mean, it's been 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks now since I've had the surgery, actually. I basically started having hair loss and receding hairline when I was 15. So that was pretty early on. And to be honest, I didn't really have that much of a problem with it. If I look at my dad, for example, he has a lot more of a problem with it than I do. But it's not like it's. I don't think there's anyone that doesn't have any problem with it at all in the beginning when it starts. And of course, I had it as well. And I finished my apprenticeship and I saved up a bit of money, and then because hair transplant is really, really expensive, actually. So it's like 2 to 4 euros per hair, like for a
How
single
much?
hair. 2 to 4 euros per hair, like for a single hair.
Oh fuck.
So it's pretty expensive. But yeah, for the process itself, I got it done here in Germany. So I don't know, if you go to Turkey, it might be a bit less expensive.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't know, with Corona and everything, that wasn't an option at all. And I wanted to have like people who are really experienced. And the clinic that I went to in Dortmund, they have 4 transplants every single day. Like 4 people are doing it every single day, and they have done that for like 5 years.
Okay.
And so with the surgery, it actually took 10 hours in total.
Wow.
So they start in the morning. I started at 7 a.m. and you get like local anesthesia.
Local.
So you're not like gone. You're like awake the whole time.
Oh shit.
So you know what happens the whole time. But yeah, you get like 14 what's it called?
Syringes?
Yeah, syringes into the back of your head and 8 in the front of your head. And those were like, whew.
Yeah,
I
I can
mean,
imagine.
like your nerves behind your ears are really, really clustered together, and
Yep.
dude, the syringes in the back were like really tough. And also you got one on your eyebrow here and one there as well. And dude, that was tough, man. I mean, my brother-in-law and my dad were they also have done it at the same surgery and stuff. And my dad was like almost passed out.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that much of a problem for me, but the pain was really bad. And the thing is, you get like a specific medicine for the stuff that's in the syringes. I don't know what it's called, to be honest, because everything is just swollen. Like you can't feel anything in your head. It feels like you have a pen in front of your head or something. And that stuff actually, it takes several days for it to go fully go out of your body. And it starts from the top and it goes down, and like 3 or 4 days later, I couldn't see anything, dude. I like my everything was swollen here, like, and
Oh wow.
I couldn't
That
see shit.
sucks,
And
dude.
on the
That's
fourth day, I had to drive my dad, and I had to drive like in total like 600 kilometers or something. And I was like on the autobahn, and I was like, dude, I can't see anything, man. I can't see anything. I was like, maybe I should just stop. And I was like going 200 on the autobahn.
Wow.
And, like, yeah. Yeah, after you get the syringes, they actually take out the hairs, every single hair, separately. Like, they don't take several or like a whole patch. They take out every single one by one. And first they take it like 2 hours. They take it from the back. Then they make holes for the new ones. It also takes like 2 hours. Then you have a break. And then it took around 5 or 6 hours, I think 5.5 hours, for them to put the new hair inside the holes. And dude, it was pretty tough. And I actually took a painkiller in the evening on an empty stomach, and it wasn't my best idea, but it was like, dude, it was. I felt like shit. And I mean, now after 2 weeks, I feel good. I didn't have any pain, like, at all after the syringes, not even a day after or late in the evening. But it's just this: you always feel tired, and you always feel like, dude, I'm gonna pass out every moment, like 2 or 3 days after the surgery. Yeah, that's basically how the procedure itself went. And what Paddy just asked, do you have to do a surgery again in some years, or will the hair stay for like 30 years? So they take out the hair from the back, and that has a specific gene pool that is different from the ones that are up top, and those don't fall out at all anymore. So they're gonna stay until I die. And so I don't have to do it. And I mean, I'm gonna do one surgery again probably later on again in like 6 or 7 years, when the other hair probably starts to fall out here in the back. It's the thing that I have on right now, it stays. But yeah, tomorrow I'm actually gonna go to Dortmund again, and they're gonna remove all the crust there, and then the hair actually falls out again, and then it's gonna start growing back again in like half a year.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it actually takes like at least half a year until you see the results.
That's crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah, Dalton, how is it with a full head of hair?
Good, yeah. I've actually during the first lockdown, I've completely shaven my head bald during a
I remember.
during a wild
Crackhead
lockdown.
freak. Absolute crackhead freak. I don't know if there are any pictures, but Jesus Christ.
Oh wait,
That
I can
was-
try to pull one up.
Nah, man, nah, you don't. Yeah, I don't know if you want that out there on the internet. That was absolute crackhead
You
freak.
can join my Discord, everyone in chat, and I'll post a picture there later.
Yeah. Join that Discord. Like that was good times.
Yeah.
But for me, I have to agree with Marine that like when it starts, like just male pattern baldness, it fucking sucks. Like you're like slowly losing your hair, and it's like what the fuck. And you're like, I don't really care, but I do care, and it's a difficult thing to navigate for everyone that it happens to. For me, the thing was like, I was going into chemo, I was getting double dose. There was no way a single hair was going to stay on my body, and I had the like 2012 Justin Bieber haircut. You know, where you would constantly,
Yeah, same.
you know, like you constantly do that. And so I was just like, mom, get the fucking electric razor and bzzz, you know, like get rid of it. And they got rid of it, and I was like, looks good. And then, you know, I stuck to it.
Yeah.
And like that was the only reason why I think I'm so comfortable with it. is because it was just like one day full on 2012 Justin Bieber haircut, next day completely shaved bald. And then, I mean, I have to say, during chemo, no body hair. Oh my God, that's so comfortable. Like you're just
can imagine.
silky, like yeah, cancer kind of sucks, but man, you're just silky smooth. Like, oh my God. And let me tell you, the ladies love it. Like you're just like, they always say hurt kids get more chocolate, like you're just like, oh, I have cancer. And then the ladies are like, and then you do the oh la la, and you're just smooth, like you're slippery, and they're like, oh, like, and then like I do the and they're like, you could do that, oh, and it's amazing, like it's so comfortable.
Went exactly
And
like that.
Yeah.
yeah, and now like I'm just a hairy monkey, and it's like it's fucking like what hair in my head still doesn't come back because like that's just how that goes. Had that fucking chemo during puberty. Like it's not the best for your hair growth. But yeah, so I've had the exact like drastic opposite of just like one day all of it was gone. So I was always pretty comfortable with it. But yeah, I can definitely see in a lot of my friends and stuff. I recommend everybody who's looking at their dad or their grandfather and is like, like he's lost his hair. Just shave your head once, like it grows back. Like it's if you just shave, it's not like gonna be gone forever. Just shave your head and look what it looks like. It's like I never expected, dude. If you saw me back in the day with that like luscious head of hair, you'd have never thought I looked this good bald.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. Yeah. But I also think the same actually, because I've never actually shaved my head like this, and I had to do it for surgery, and I actually like it a lot. I mean,
yeah, I think you look great right now. Like, it's really good. The glasses and the mustache really adds to it. Like that definitely completes the look. 100% like really stylish. I do really like it.
Thanks.
So
But,
best of
yeah,
luck with the hair, but even if not, then perfectly fine with me.
yeah, I mean, it feels good to know that if actually everything goes south with my hair, then I can actually,
Yeah, you can
wear
definitely
it like
rock.
that.
Yeah, you can definitely rock the look. Me personally, I didn't look I didn't look as good.
I mean, but that was more because of your physical health, not because of
yeah,
the shape
I
of
was
your head.
doing a lot of substances at the time.
It was absolute crackhead freak, man.
But eventually we'll have an episode about me as well. But for now, we're gonna leave that. All right. If you guys don't want to talk about anything else, I guess we're gonna end it here.
Yeah, I think we had a lot of topics
Yeah,
all
I
the
think
way
so as
through,
well.
not only Battlefield.
Yeah, I think so as
I think
well.
it was good to touch on that. I think what last thing we actually can give a shout out is actually to support Dirty
Yep.
in his fight with cancer. If any one of you has any money to spare, even if it's just €1, donate some, because a friend of us, player from Battlefields from the community, is struggling with cancer, and it would help him out a lot.
Yeah, I've already done a couple of events in the past for him, and I'll be doing one again now as well to raise some money. He thought last time there was the last surgery, but unfortunately he had some complications now, which are actually life-threatening the way that I understood it. So if he can't get the surgery, he might actually, like, it's a small chance, but he might actually lose his life to it, or for sure his leg. So it would be nice to help him reach the goal. If only if you can spare like a euro or something, it doesn't matter. Anything helps. So yeah, definitely check out the page. It's linked in the chat already.
Yeah, but we're gonna talk about it more, and if with the new Battlefield, we might actually get the word out to a bit more people.
Yeah.
And I mean, every one of us, I don't know if you guys want to stream the new game, but I will definitely do it. And
Yeah,
I think we're gonna see each other on Wednesday.
Yeah, definitely. definitely. All right. On that note, we're gonna end it here. I'm gonna check if we can rate someone.
Definitely.
But yeah, I'll also be. I think I don't know when exactly the beta ends.
On the 9th, I think.
The 9th. So is that on Sunday?
Saturday, I think.
Saturday. So if it ends on Sunday, on Saturday, then I'll do another stream on Sunday for sure. Let's
Dude,
actually.
the emote is so good.
So good.
Who are we going to give it to? I want to give it to some small.
It's always me
Hunter.
at the end of the stream. I just can't hold it
Let's
together.
raid Rush here.
Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and
Yep.
thanks for chatting with us.
Yep. Thanks a
And-
lot. It was amazing. I really
Oh.
appreciated you being here as well, Marine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you
was-
for being
it was
on,
an
Marine. It was a
honor.
lot of fun.
I'm always up for that kind of stuff. So if you're all the way through the whole Battlefield community, you can always invite me again if you guys want.
Yep, definitely. But we'll definitely I'll do some. Now I'm trying to do like a couple of individual ones, but I also want to get some people on and talk about topics as well in the future. So,
Nice.
but yeah, thank you for
But yeah.
coming on, Marine, and thank you for
Thank you, guys.
co-hosting Hunter. It was very interesting.
Thanks for
As
having me.
always.
All right, bye guys, and
Bye-bye.
show some love to Rush. Bye. Bim boom bum.